Right, let's have a proper chat, shall we? Pull up a chair, grab your cuppa, and let me ask you something that might sting a bit. When did you last look at your life and think, bloody hell, I'm actually chuffed with what I've accomplished? Not just content, not just getting by, but genuinely proud of the standard you've set for yourself. If you're scratching your head right now, you're not alone. Most of us have fallen into what I call the mediocrity trap, that comfortable, soul-crushing middle ground where dreams go to die quietly, without drama, without fanfare, just fade away. I'm here today to shake you awake from that slumber, because settling for mediocrity isn't just about underachieving, it's about betraying the very essence of who you could become. Let's start with a hard truth. Mediocrity is seductive. It whispers sweet nothings in your ear. Why stress yourself? This is good enough. Look around. You're doing better than most. And that's precisely the problem. Better than most has become our benchmark for success, when it should be the floor, not the ceiling. We've created a culture where not terrible equals brilliant, where showing up is celebrated more than excelling, where participation trophies have trained us to expect rewards for simply existing. But here's what nobody tells you about mediocrity. It's not a plateau you can rest on. It's quicksand. The longer you stay, the deeper you sink, until one day you wake up wondering where the hell your life went. I've met brilliant minds working dead-end jobs because they were comfortable. I've seen talented artists give up their craft because it was too difficult to make it. I've watched entrepreneurs with game-changing ideas settle for small thinking because big dreams felt unrealistic. Each time, I wanted to grab them by the shoulders and shout, "You're sleepwalking through your own life."
Let me tell you about my own brush with mediocrity. There was a period in my 20s when I had what looked like a decent life on paper. Steady job, nice flat, regular holidays to Spain. I was ticking all the conventional boxes, but I felt hollow inside, like I was playing a character in someone else's story. The wake-up call came during a particularly mind-numbing meeting about quarterly projections. As my colleague droned on about optimizing synergies, I found myself calculating how many hours of my finite existence I'd already surrendered to this grey, uninspiring routine. The number was terrifying. That night, I stared at the ceiling and asked myself a question that changed everything. If I continue down this path, what will I think of my choices when I'm on my deathbed? The answer made me feel physically sick. I was trading my potential for security, my dreams for comfort, my authentic self for social approval.
The true cost of mediocrity isn't just professional stagnation, it's the slow erosion of your soul. When you settle for less than you're capable of, you don't just underperform, you become a stranger to yourself. You start making decisions based on fear rather than vision, on limitation rather than possibility. Mediocrity convinces you that your circumstances define your destiny. It tells you that your background, your education, your current situation are permanent barriers rather than temporary conditions. It makes you believe that extraordinary outcomes are reserved for other people, those with better connections, more talent, or just plain luck. But here's what I've learned from studying high achievers across every field imaginable. Excellence isn't about having perfect conditions. It's about refusing to let imperfect conditions define your standards. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Oprah Winfrey was born into poverty and faced countless rejections. Stephen Hawking revolutionized physics whilst battling a debilitating disease.
What separated them wasn't their circumstances, it was their relationship with mediocrity. They recognized it as the enemy of greatness and declared war on it. Mediocrity operates through specific thought patterns that we often mistake for wisdom. Let me expose a few. Be realistic. This phrase has killed more dreams than failure ever could. When someone tells you to be realistic, they're usually asking you to lower your standards to match their limited imagination. Reality is not fixed. It's created by those brave enough to challenge what others accept as inevitable. Don't rock the boat. This is mediocrity's favorite saying. It keeps you safely anchored in the harbor whilst your dreams sail away to distant shores. But boats aren't built to stay in harbors. They're built to navigate storms and discover new lands. Good enough. These two words are mediocrity's battle cry. They convince you to stop improving, stop growing, stop reaching. But good enough is the enemy of great. It's where potential goes to die. Everyone's doing it. Mediocrity loves crowds. It finds comfort in conformity and safety in sameness. But exceptional results require exceptional thinking, and exceptional thinking rarely aligns with what everyone is doing. Now, let's talk about the alternative, a life of intentional excellence. Excellence isn't about being perfect, it's about being purposeful. It's about setting standards that inspire you to grow, rather than settling for standards that keep you stagnant. Excellence is a daily choice, not a destination. It's choosing to read instead of scrolling mindlessly through social media. It's choosing to have difficult conversations instead of avoiding conflict. It's choosing to invest in your skills instead of hoping someone else will invest in you first. When you commit to excellence, you don't just change your outcomes, you change your identity. You stop being someone who hopes things work out and become someone who makes things work out. You stop being a passenger in your own life and become the driver. So, how do you break free from mediocrity's grip? It starts with small, consistent actions that compound over time. First, audit your current standards. Look at every area of your life, your work, your relationships, your health, your personal growth, and honestly assess where you've been settling. Where have you accepted good enough when you know you're capable of better? Second, surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking. Mediocrity is contagious, but so is excellence. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Find mentors, join communities, build relationships with people who are already living at the level you aspire to reach. Third, develop what I call standard consciousness, a heightened awareness of the quality you're accepting in every moment. When you're about to submit that report, ask yourself, is this the best I can do, or just good enough to get by? When you're about to have that conversation, ask, am I bringing my authentic self, or just going through the motions? Fourth, embrace discomfort as a compass. Mediocrity feels comfortable because it demands nothing of you. Excellence feels uncomfortable because it demands everything. That discomfort isn't a warning sign, it's a growth signal. Learn to run towards it, not away from it. I know what some of you are thinking. This sounds exhausting. Can't I just live a simple, peaceful life? Absolutely, you can. But here's what I've observed. People who settle for mediocrity don't actually find peace. They find regret. Peace comes from knowing you've given your best effort.
regardless of the outcome. Peace comes from alignment between your values and your actions. Peace comes from the quiet confidence that you're not squandering your gifts. Others might be thinking, what if I fail? What if I aim high and fall short? Here's a perspective shift. The biggest failure isn't falling short of your goals. It's setting goals so low that achieving them means nothing.
When you choose excellence over mediocrity, you don't just transform your own life, you give others permission to transform theirs. Excellence is magnetic. It inspires, motivates, and elevates everyone in its orbit. Your children watch how you approach challenges. Your colleagues observe your work ethic. Your friends notice your standards. Whether you realize it or not, you're either modeling excellence or mediocrity. Which legacy do you want to leave?
Let me leave you with this thought. You have roughly 30,000 days in your lifetime, if you're lucky. How many of those days are you willing to spend living below your potential? How many are you willing to trade for the false comfort of mediocrity? Every morning, you wake up with a choice. You can choose the path of least resistance, the familiar route of getting by, the safe harbor of average. Or you can choose the path of intentional excellence, the challenging route of growth, the open ocean of possibility. Mediocrity will always be there, waiting with open arms, ready to catch you if you fall. But excellence? Excellence demands that you don't fall. It demands that you rise again and again, until rising becomes your natural state. The world doesn't need another person settling for mediocrity. It needs you, the real you, the excellent you. The you that refuses to accept anything less than your best. So what's it going to be? Will you continue sleepwalking through your potential? Or will you finally wake up and show the world what you're truly capable of? The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Choose excellently. Choose now.
That's all for today's episode. I hope these words have stirred something within you, perhaps a discomfort with your current standards, perhaps a vision of what's possible when you refuse to settle. Remember, excellence isn't a one-time decision, it's a daily practice. Start today, start small, but most importantly, just start. Until next time, keep pushing boundaries, keep raising standards, and whatever you do, don't settle for mediocrity.